Hello, YouTube. As you can see, I currently have rice and ribs heating and cooking up inside the rice cooker using the inverter cooking system in Little Blue 2. What's kind of special about this dinner is this is actually me eating leftovers that I cooked earlier today when I had my son. I had picked him up to have him for the weekend, and we ended up going to the RV, to drop off some other items from Little Blue 2, as well as take some stuff from storage. Little Blue 2 is actually in the middle of being dismantled and reassembled. So I am basically taking components from Little Blue 2 to put inside White Knuckle, the RV, to make that as functional as Little Blue 2 was, and then some. And meanwhile, Little Blue 2 continues to function as a stealth van camper, minivan camper. So I basically have two homes, one big one and one little one. The big one is going to be designed for more of a permanent type home, in that I can live in it, almost like a sticks and bricks, because it is designed to be parked, not driven all over the place. But Little Blue 2, on the other hand, can still function as a passenger vehicle, which it was today when I picked up my son, and also for hauling things. Now, originally I was going to clean out the vehicle, repainted stuff, and was going to do a really detailed tour. But in that brief moment, in that brief time, which was just a little over 1 week ago, 1 weekend, 1 day ago, I ended up buying the RV, White Knuckle. That was kind of a sudden move and unplanned. And it just sort of happened because I couldn't pass up the opportunity to potentially get myself into an RV that was in okay shape. I mean, physically it needs a lot of work and stuff, but it is usable. And I had worked out an arrangement where I could get some parking, parked vehicle, and be somewhat safe. So took advantage of it, and now actually live in an RV and not in Little Blue 2. Although tonight, I just finished cooking, I am going to be living in Little Blue 2. So you can see the food is pork ribs. Look at that. Pork ribs that I had cooked earlier. I got a huge rack of pork ribs for under $7 and cooked it up. I ended up frying it inside the, what do they call the frying pan? Using the butane stove system. So I fried it with badia and the chopped onions. And that was pretty much it. That was only flavoring, and it was really good. And I'm going to be having what's left, that's the last of it, for dinner tonight with the rice. Not really going to do a mukbang video because I'm just really exhausted. It's been a tough week, tough weekend, and I had to commute all the way over here to South Brevard from North Brevard to pick up and drop off my son, and just dropped him off and decided, you know what, I'm not going to commute up to North Brevard tonight just to sleep and come back the next morning and pick up my kids again, or my kid, depending on how many I show up tomorrow. But basically decided I'm going to go ahead and camp out here at Walmart over here in off Palm Bay Road. You can see this is the Walmart parking lot tonight, so that I can stay in this area and pick up my kid early in the morning, instead of driving back up north, which is like really far, about an hour away, and then driving back down here again in the morning to pick up my son, and then doing stuff. It's just a lot of driving back and forth. So because it is a weekend and I'm not working on the weekend, I would take advantage of Little Blue 2 and have somewhat reassembled her. She's missing her bed sheet and stuff because that's now inside White Knuckle, but she does have a sleeping bag, the bed mattress, the memory foam thing, and 2 pillows. So that's enough. Also, she's got, one of the fans has been removed because stuff had been taken out of here for White Knuckle. But I do have 2 fans, but only one will work because I have removed the multi-plug outlet, But something else that's missing here, I don't know if the camera will pick it up here. Yeah, the TV's gone. The little miniature 19-inch TV that was right here, mounted on the back seat of the driver's seat, has been removed and it's now inside White Knuckle, because like I said, I'm converting White Knuckle to be my primary living vehicle. And little Blue 2 now is for stuff like this when I have to go somewhere real quick and just want to spend the night. I don't really watch too much TV in little Blue 2 unless I'm stuck, you know, it's like a rainy day and I'm stuck in it. So decided to move it into the living room for White Knuckle, which I've shown in some other videos. But I even removed the solar panel that was up here. The solar panel that was installed up here. Look at the remnants of the dead love bugs. But the solar panel was just strapped in here using the zip ties. I've removed that. So as of right now, solar panel is being used for White Knuckle to recharge the RV's leisure battery. It's only 25 watts, so it's probably not going to charge it fully. I'm kind of doing a test to see how much it will actually charge it. Otherwise, I have to keep jumping, you know, using this vehicle, little Blue 2. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Using little Blue 2 to charge up White Knuckle. But that's where we're at. I do have little Blue 2 here running still fairly well. White Knuckle needs some major work. I don't have the funds. Currently in limbo with White Knuckle, but at least she's safely in Brevard County. My big priority is to patch the leaks and get her reconfigured, you know, or configured, not reconfigured, but configured to livability status where I can actually move in and live there. And I've already, in fact, moved in. It's just a mess. So right now, little Blue 2 is actually a little bit neater than White Knuckle, but you can see stuff just kind of piled up and tossed everywhere. I am in process of working things out. You can see my little storage here. I have some soda here as well as ice, but the ice is all melted, which we'll be getting some more ice to cool things down. And I had all these so that, you know, when I have my kids on the weekend, they can have soda. As well as myself, I've been drinking too much soda lately, just because of the stress of the situation. Just so much stuff happening all at once right now. But it's good stuff, you know. Although I did hurt my back today trying to haul water. I had a, I don't know, it was a 20-gallon, 15 or 20-gallon water thing that I had bought, portable water container that I had bought from Goodwill and had been saving it and was going to use it to transport water to White Knuckle. And after looking around at various parks, found a spigot that was coming out of the ground and filled it up with water. That thing weighed probably 160 to 200 pounds. Yeah, and I had lifted it by myself, and now my back is like even worse than ever. So that was probably a stupid move on my part, and that was just earlier today, so I'm sure by tomorrow I'll be lucky if I can walk. It was just so bad, I could feel myself in pain. And then to make it matters worse, I filled two 1-gallon milk jugs with it, and looked in and saw that there were bits of dirt and leaves floating around in that water. So the water wasn't even clean. That means I couldn't use it. I'm going to have to, you know, you need to filter it and stuff, but I not only need to filter it, but I'm going to dump it. The 200 pounds of water, 150, 200 pounds of water that I lugged and lifted and hurt myself with is useless. And not only that, now it's contaminated and dirt, you know, made my water transporter dirty. So I'm going to have to rinse all that out. But it's hard to rinse because water is a valuable commodity if you're in an RV. Extremely valuable. So I'm in process of setting up a water catchment system to catch the rain and several other things, which, you know, you guys can watch in future episodes. But where we're at right now, I'm just trying to get the RV into livable, self-sustainable mode as best as possible. But having to haul water there is what I have to do right now to have usable water, because I want to be able to flush the toilet. I want to be able to take a shower. I want to be able to do all these things that I couldn't do inside Little Blue 2, because now I have a full-blown RV. And, you know, what good is a full-blown RV if you're not going to use it as an RV? So we're trying to make the battery systems work. We're trying to make when I say we, that's me. my wife has been coming to help a little bit. But trying to get the system up and running so we actually have a workable, self-sustaining home, kind of, on a very low budget. But with the water issue being dirty, I'll have to sterilize it. I'm not going to use that 15 to 20 gallon water holder. I might even resell it if somebody wants to buy it, just because it was too heavy to lug around. When you fill it completely with water, I couldn't lift it. It had wheels, but you got to lift it. I don't know how. You got to have to pump the water back out. There's all sorts of crazy issues. I think I'm better off if I have to refill my huge thing using, just doing it a little bit at a time by grabbing a gallon jug of water. And when I go to get gasoline at Wawa, which actually I've been avoiding Wawa for gasoline, because every time I get gasoline from Wawa, I seem to have issues. But when I go to not Wawa, but Racetrack or whatever to get gasoline, looking for the water spigot and filling it with a gallon of water, then taking it to the RV when I'm at the RV and adding it. So that's going to be the goal, is maybe when I'm at work or whatever, get a gallon of water and add it each day. You know, maybe I use up a gallon, maybe I use up a little bit less, maybe get 2 gallons of water and add it each day. So that's going to be the plan, is just to slowly fill it up until I can get my water catchment system working. So, but anyhow, I am going to go ahead and eat dinner. This is dinner. I do need to shut the system off, but let me go ahead and show you a little bit for those of you who are wondering how this is all possible. You really want to watch the Cooking with Denoy series, because it shows how the system was configured and hooked up. But I'm going to give a really quick overview right now. Everything's being cooked off an inverter, and what's powering it is the vehicle's alternator. The alternator over here is generating electricity and sending it to the vehicle's starter battery right here. So this is a starter battery, and you're going to see that I plugged into the positive. See that little red line that comes out? And it has a little fuse protector there. That is the positive 12 volt being pulled, and I ran it underneath the vehicle down here. I didn't really do a good job, but I did run it through a wire underneath there, and you can see it comes through the door, and I have it kind of hidden up through here. It's just a 10 gauge wire. Okay, I just got a 10 gauge wire that I bought from Home Depot. If I were doing it again, I might use a larger gauge. I mean, like a smaller number, but it's a larger gauge basically. Or use the wire that comes with a jumper cable. Just cut that and use that as the wiring. But I don't know, this works too. I mean, it's been working for 3 years now, so maybe I'll keep it. But I wire it up here to the switch, which is a regular house switch, and you can see this is switched on right now. And the reason it's on is it connects that battery, the vehicle battery, to this battery back here, which I'll show you here in a moment. So we can get this open. So in this pack here, this battery pack is a leisure battery. I'll open it up to show you real quick. The thing's kind of a mess, so pardon me. I was going to do a really detailed thing. Wow. But here you can see it's just a leisure battery. See that? It's plugged in, positive and negative. That positive and negative goes to this right here, which is the inverter. But anyhow, the positive line there comes up to the positive. This is the positive line from the vehicle. No, that's the negative. This is the positive line from the vehicle, the one that we traced to the switch. It comes up and it plugs into this thing. And then the negative, I just have a 10 gauge that I run, and it goes right under here and plugs into the metal. I sanded it down to bare metal and just bolted it down there using one of these little eyelet clips. But anyhow, that grounds the system, and I have a complete circuit. So the power comes from the vehicle's alternator, you know, goes to the battery, vehicle's battery, then comes through here. When the switch is on, it connects and it goes up to the inverter first. And that's important, because what I found is if you go to the battery first, then you try to pull the battery power to cook, you end up killing the battery. It drains it too fast. So by coming right up here to the inverter, it typically comes through at like 13.6 volts is what my alternator is putting out, 13.6 volts. But it comes here, and when we have this switched on, it converts the 12 volts into 120 volts right here, which goes to the rice cooker that you see down there. And that's what's powering the whole rice cooker bit. And right now it says 13.2, even though the rice cooker is on, but it's on low. I'm going to show you what happens if I unplug it. It should jump up to 13.6. It's charging anything like over 12 volts. It's charging the system. I'm trying. Hope I don't get electrocuted here. Trying to do everything one-handed. See, when I unplug it, it says right now it's producing. It's going up to 13.4, 13.5. That's the voltage that's flowing through to coming in from the alternator, hitting the inverter, and then the excess is flowing down to the vehicle's battery, which is charging up right now. So I'm going to shut this off because the inverter itself uses some power. Just plug that in even though it's off, just so it's all ready to go. All I have to do is flip this on and it'll cook. You'll see that I have some jacks that I've hooked up here to the inverter. That doesn't run off the inverter, you know, the output of the inverter, which is 120 volts, 115 volts. It goes directly to this jack, the connection for the 12 volts. So this cigarette lighter plug here is 12 volts. And you can see this one only has two connection jacks, or three. It's got one, which is a 12 volt plug right here, which is actually the fan. See, that is back there right now. So I can run that fan to cool myself. Normally I have it come here and plug in, like over here I have a 3-prong or 3-hole, 312 volt hole receptacle, and I plug it into this one. So that I can run 3 different fans or items from there. But the way I have it right now, it'll run only one fan because the vehicle's in process of being rebuilt. I'm going to buy another 3-prong connection as soon as I can find one that's affordable. At least 2, but I'm probably going to go with 3 so I can have up to 3 fans again inside the little Bluetooth if I want to. And I have 2 USB jacks, which are always constantly on. And I use them to charge up like this battery pack right here on the second camera. You see it says 100%. And if you can see it says 100%. I always have batteries at 100% so that when I run out, I just swap out the battery from this phone to the other one. They're not the exact same model, but they use the same battery pack. So I can swap it out. And then at night when I'm sleeping in the van, I can plug this in, the second plug here, to the phone that's filming the segment right now, and that will charge up. And that's how I keep my electronics all charged up. But I do have a second fan right now back there that does work, but it's not plugged in. So I just plugged that in if I wanted it working, but I obviously don't have enough plugs, which is what I'm going to try to buy tonight at Walmart. I'm going to try to buy a 3-prong connector if they have one. They didn't have one earlier today, so maybe they still probably don't have it. Maybe I'll go to a different Walmart. But, you know, once I get that, I'll have Blue completely operational again. I did remove the fan that was up here, and the reason that one got removed was it was moved to put inside White Knuckle, you know, the RV. And that fan right there by that window, I'm probably going to move that to this spot right here. Because it's more useful here, because I can use it to blow the front seat, you know, when I'm just sitting there with the engine off. Because the fans are always on, because it's always a 12 volt DC connection. And that's pretty much it for the wiring for the cooking system, for those of you who are curious as to how it's done. If you want to see it in detail, you'll probably want to watch the Cooking with the Noise series of videos where I use the inverter cooking system and I show very basic steps of cooking just using the vehicle's vehicle battery, starter battery system without a house battery. You use that and an inverter, at least a 400-watt inverter, and you can power a 300-watt rice cooker like this one that's available from Walmart, and that's what I use to cook my food. Right now the system is off. When I hit the power here, the rice cooker is off. So it's about ready to be eaten. So I'm just going to go ahead and put up my little table here. You know that some of you saw me make this table. Shut the door so I'm enjoying the nice cold air conditioning that was installed by Express Tech Auto, whom I need to contact and try to work out some kind of day where I actually go and try to film their segments. Still planning on working with them to get the channel going. I just have been crazy on this end with getting the RV, getting it ready, configured for living in, and starting the new job, which I don't know if I told you guys a little bit about it, but essentially I'm working a part-time job that's Monday to Friday, about 20-25 hours a week roughly, which is not full-time, but I initially wanted full-time, but I'm thinking maybe this is better because it gives me time to work on YouTube as well as time to try to do stuff with Express Tech Auto. We'll talk some more about that later, but I'm basically working as a custodian at a space facility. I can't talk too much about it because it's kind of secured area and stuff, but it's pretty cool. We deal with what they deal with basically is SpaceX, NASA, Lockheed Martin, all the space stuff. They produce things for the space missions, to support the space missions. So, interesting work, to say the least. I mean, what I do is clean, but the facility itself is interesting. But I'm rambling on, and it is late, and I am hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and eat my food now. I'm not going to do a mukbang because I'm just so exhausted. I don't feel like setting up the camera and filming. I just want to quickly eat. Call it a night. Try to stretch my body, which is aching from lifting that 150 to 200 pound water container. That was nuts. Don't do that. And then try to relax a little bit tonight, even though I'll just probably relax right here. Just I think the spot has some Wi-Fi, spotty Wi-Fi, and chill watching a little bit of YouTube if I can, and just go to sleep and see my kids tomorrow and try to enjoy the rest of this weekend. In the meantime, I hope that wherever you are, you're staying safe, staying cool. If you're in Florida or some other place that's hot, you can see the love bugs seem to have disappeared. All this wet spot is from my son and I trying to clean the window of all the remnants of the passion of the love bug. But there's still some of them here. Anyhow, it is getting dark and I am starving. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Bon appetit. Stay safe, and know that I'm praying and thinking of, praying for and thinking of each and every one of you. Take care now. Have a good night. Bye-bye now.